Our journey begins in a quiet neighborhood where one man's trash turned out to be another man's treasure. Let's meet Joe, an everyday guy with a peculiar fondness for garage sales. On a sunny Saturday morning, Joe set out on his usual treasure hunting expedition, rummaging through piles of forgotten odds and ends. His eyes were drawn to a dusty canvas peeping out from a pile of old books and magazines. Intrigued, he picked up the painting, a rather dour portrait of an unknown woman, her eyes filled with a melancholy that had resonated with Joe. He haggled with the owner, a friendly elderly lady, and walked away with the painting for a mere $10, a small price for a piece of art that had caught his fancy. Days turned into weeks, and the painting found a home on Joe's living room wall. His friends would often chuckle at his latest acquisition, playfully questioning his taste in art. Little did they know, Joe was about to have the last laugh. One day, a friend of a friend, a minor art collector, happened to visit Joe. His eyes widened in disbelief as he spotted the painting. It wasn't just an old portrait, as Joe had assumed. It was a long-lost masterpiece from the late Renaissance period, a priceless artifact thought to be lost forever. Joe, of course, was flabbergasted. He had the painting authenticated, and sure enough, it was genuine. Overnight, Joe went from being a humble garage sale connoisseur to a millionaire. His $10 investment had turned into a jackpot, the kind that people only dream of. And that dusty old painting? It turned out to be a long-lost masterpiece worth millions. Joe's story serves as a reminder that sometimes fortune can be found in the most unlikely places. In this case, it was hidden in plain sight at a humble garage sale in a quiet neighborhood. In the early days of Bitcoin, people were still skeptical about cryptocurrency. An intriguing world of digital currencies, blockchain technology, and decentralized finance was slowly emerging. Amidst this, we meet Sarah, a young woman with little interest in the world of virtual money. One day, Sarah received an unusual gift from her eccentric uncle. It was nothing more than a plain piece of paper with a seemingly random series of numbers and letters scribbled on it. Her uncle explained that it was a Bitcoin wallet, a digital place to store the cryptocurrency. But to Sarah, it seemed like a joke. After all, how could a piece of paper possibly hold any value? Little did Sarah know, these numbers and letters were a private key, a unique identifier which granted access to a stash of Bitcoins her uncle had mined years back when Bitcoin was still in its infancy and worth only a handful of dollars. Sarah, completely oblivious to its worth, tossed the paper into a drawer and forgot about it. Years passed and the world of cryptocurrency evolved. Bitcoin, once a strange and misunderstood concept, grew in value exponentially. One day, while cleaning out her drawer, Sarah stumbled upon the worthless piece of paper again. Out of curiosity, she decided to check the value of the Bitcoin wallet it represented. Much to her shock and disbelief, the worthless paper was a key to a Bitcoin wallet that was now worth millions of dollars. The handful of Bitcoins her uncle had mined when they were worth barely anything had ballooned into a fortune thanks to the meteoric rise of Bitcoin's value. Sarah's story serves as a valuable lesson. Don't underestimate the potential of new and emerging technologies. What might seem worthless today could turn out to be a goldmine tomorrow. Sarah's worthless gift turned out to be her ticket to millionaire status. Sometimes becoming a millionaire requires a touch of madness. Let's turn our attention to a certain Henry. A man of curious mind and eccentric spirit, Henry was always inventing, tinkering, and creating. But it wasn't your everyday run-of-the-mill kind of inventing. No, Henry's ideas were, well, peculiar. In the heart of his cluttered workshop, amidst a sea of tools, gears, and wires, Henry birthed a creation like no other. It wasn't a machine to make life easier or a device to solve a worldwide problem. No, this invention was something entirely different, something strange. It was a gadget that defied explanation, a contraption that seemed to have no purpose. It was a thing amabob of sorts, with blinking lights and whirling dials, a jumble of parts that moved and whirred and buzzed in a symphony of inexplicable action. To the untrained eye, it was a mess of nonsense, but to Henry it was his masterpiece. Everybody thought Henry had finally lost it. His friends, his family, even his trusty dog seemed to look at him with a mix of pity and confusion. But Henry, undeterred by the skeptics, believed in his bizarre invention. He saw a future where his contraption wasn't just understood, but celebrated. And then, one day, it happened. A major tech company, always on the hunt for the next big thing, took notice of Henry's odd invention. They saw beyond the whirling dials and blinking lights. They saw the potential, the raw, untapped potential of a concept so outlandish, it could only be the work of a madcap genius. The tech company offered Henry a deal that would secure his place in the Millionaires Club. They bought the patent to his quirky invention for a sum that would make your eyes water. Just like that, Henry's crazy invention, laughed at by many, was his golden ticket to wealth. It turns out sometimes you need a touch of madness to strike it rich. In the corporate world, ethical boundaries are sometimes blurred. Meet Alex, a man with a keen mind and a knack for innovation, stuck in a dead-end job and feeling unappreciated. One day, during a particularly grueling meeting, an idea sparked in Alex's mind. It was groundbreaking, revolutionary, and potentially worth millions. He scribbled it down on a napkin, a blueprint for a technology that could change the face of his industry. However, as it often happens in the cutthroat world of corporate politics, someone else saw the potential in Alex's idea. His boss, quick to spot an opportunity, took the napkin with the million-dollar idea and presented it as his own. The company was thrilled, and the boss was hailed as a visionary. Alex watched in disbelief as his idea was stolen and paraded around as the brainchild of his boss. He was frustrated, angry, but he was also smart. He knew he had a case, and he decided to fight for his rights. After a grueling legal battle, the truth emerged. The idea was rightfully Alex's. The court ordered the company to pay a massive settlement to Alex for his stolen idea. The underdog emerged victorious, and overnight, Alex became a millionaire thanks to the very idea that was stolen from him. Alex's stolen idea, once a source of frustration, brought him unexpected riches. It was a dumb situation, sure, but it landed him in the Millionaires Club. This tale is a reminder that even in adversity, there can be a silver lining, and sometimes that silver lining can be worth millions. When it comes to dumb decisions, gambling can lead to both fortune and folly. This is a tale of audacity, a roll of the dice that defies common sense, and yet it's a tale of triumph. Let's meet our protagonist, David. David was an ordinary guy living an ordinary life until one day he decided to break the mold. With a glint in his eye and a heart full of courage, David took his entire life savings, everything he had worked for, and walked into a casino in Las Vegas. Yes, you heard that right. David was about to make a gamble that would either make him a millionaire or leave him penniless. Now, this isn't a strategy we would recommend. In fact, it's downright crazy. But David was not a man to be deterred. He approached the roulette table with a firm stride, the whole casino watching in disbelief as he placed his entire life savings on a single spin. The tension in the room was palpable. As the roulette wheel began to spin, time seemed to slow down. The ball danced around the wheel, flirting with different numbers until finally it settled. David had bet on black, and to everyone's astonishment, the ball had landed on black. The room erupted in a chorus of gasps and cheers. David, the man who had risked it all, had won. He had turned his life savings into a fortune, becoming an overnight millionaire. This is the story of how a crazy bet, a bet that defied all logic and reason, turned David into a millionaire. It's a story that serves as a reminder of the unpredictability of life, and how sometimes, against all odds, a seemingly dumb decision can lead to extraordinary outcomes. David's high-risk gamble paid off in the most spectacular way, making him an overnight millionaire. So, the next time you're faced with a seemingly dumb decision, remember David's story. But remember, not every crazy bet ends with a jackpot.